I can verify something that I heard recently that I just saw happen. Bed bugs can jump pretty far. Like up and shit. Yeah, over my fingertips. Jump. Let's go. The motherfucking bit me. What's up, bitch? Rain. It bit me. And then why is the whole fucking...
Sit on the beach, quiet times in the city can never be beat. So baby, you can do your thing, and I can do my thing. No, we can do our thing. Say, baby, you can do your thing, so do your thing, and I can do my thing. No, we can do our thing. It's showtime, your time to shine. Escalating at a pace, got no time to be blind. I get it, got it good. You're doing what you shouldn't. Let me tell you, you're doing misunderstood. I'm doing my thing, and you're doing yours. Making life happen and dreaming of the lows. You're dreaming NBA, and I'm dreaming world tours. And I think it's very sexy when you show me your full force and dress and caress and get the best of me. I can be your best friend if you let me see what you believe. Honestly, the perfect life could be. Then, honey, I'll support you in the front row seats. And baby, you can do your thing, and I can do my thing. No, we can do a thing. Say, baby, you can do your thing, so do your thing, and I can do my thing. No, we can do a thing. Baby, you can do your thing, and I can do my thing. No, we can do a thing. Say, baby, you can do your thing, so do your thing, and I can do my thing. No, we can do a thing. Why don't you come around here and I'll make you feel right at home? From the couch to the floor, we'll be in the zone. Let's get it on till the dawn arises. Kissing in the midst of the prairie horizon. To the moon, chemistry is what I'm feeling from you. A perfect love story with a rough draft prelude. I wanna make it right and follow right through. Honey, breakfast in bed is something I can do for you. Eat your mangoes from the tip of my tongue, and I can get it done. So baby, give me some, and I can give you some, then we can go from there. Keep it PG, but you see what I mean. Let's go for a walk, and let me walk and trail and watch the sunset and the moon and stars and veils get rocks by the river and sit on the beach. Quiet times in the city can never be beat. So baby, you can do your thing, and I can do my thing. No, we can do a thing. Say, baby, you can do your thing, so do your thing, and I can do my thing. No, we can do a thing. It's showtime, your time to shine. Escalating at a pace, got no time to be blind. I get it, got it good. You're doing what you shouldn't. Let me tell you, you're doing misunderstood. I'm doing my thing, and you're doing yours. Making life happen and dreaming of the lows. You're dreaming NBA, and I'm dreaming world tours. And I think it's very sexy when you show me your full force and dress and caress and get the best of me. I can be your best friend if you let me see what you believe. Honestly, the perfect life could be. Then, honey, I'll support
Dealing
you.
with the death of a loved one due to COVID-19. This is what fucking South Africa's putting up.
And I can do a thing, no, we can do a thing. Say, baby, you can do your thing, so do your thing, and I can do a thing, no, we can do a thing. Baby, you can do your thing,
Can kill anybody.
and I can do a thing, no, we can do a thing. Say, baby, you can do your thing, so do your thing, and I can do a thing, no, we can do a thing.
Why can't you make this stupid thing its own little website? No, pop in and out the window or something. No, you have to make it so it scrolls up and down, and inside scrolls up and down, and then the controls pop up and down inside. Yeah, you fucked up. Well, you really want to listen? Yeah, well. Oh shit, I don't know what comes next. Things like keep skipping it back. I probably won't like it. You know what? Is that a big chunk of glass? Great.
Hey, jump back in the box, motherfucker.
do like that one. I like hearing her better. I think I have to fucking navigate to 12 p.m. I don't remember the last one we heard was. And somehow I have to scroll down 2 weeks ago. That's like a half of this.
Kissing in the midst of the prairie horizon. There's a moon chemistry is what I feel from you. A perfect love story with a rough draft prelude. I wanna make it right and follow right through. Honey, breakfast in bed is something I can do for you.
Don't problem.
So baby, give me some and I can give me some and we can go from there. Keep it cheap, but you see what I mean. Let's go for a walk, let me walk and trail and watch the sunset and the moon and the smells get rocked by the river and sit on the beach. Quiet times in the city can never be beat. So baby, you can do your thing. And I can do my thing, and we can do our thing. Say, baby, you can do your thing, so do your thing. And I can do my thing, and we can do our thing. It's showtime, your time to shine. Escalating at a pace that on top of your mind. I get it, got it good, you're doing what you shouldn't. Let me tell you that you ain't misunderstood. I'm doing my thing, and you're doing yours. Making life happen and dreaming of the world you're dreaming and being. I'm dreaming world tours, and I think it's very sexy when you show me your flaws. Dressing, caressing, get the best of me. I can be your best friend if you let me see what you believe. Honestly, the perfect life could be that, honey. I'll support you when the front row seats. And baby, you
Just
can
feel
do
the blood
your
in my
thing.
hands because my hands are just spontaneously bleeding for no reason. And it's okay because look, I can burn myself with cigarettes on purpose. It doesn't hurt.
Baby, you can do your thing. And I can do a thing, and we can do a thing. Say, baby, you can do your thing, so do your thing. And I can do a thing, and we can do
I
a
just know
thing.
nothing about light bulbs going to be a problem. So there's nothing anywhere near it. It's just going to explode or something. Fuck, I never put up my Christmas. I should put up the Christmas lights right in the window. I should cover the entire top windows. I have way too many of these freaking white Christmas lights. I didn't know it was going to become trendy to have white Christmas lights. I mean, I did know. That's why I bought them.
Hey, John got in the box. Cutthroat slime gang. 32013. Free up all the dogs. Backstrap. Some motherfucking mob.
On FM, online, and on your smart speaker. This is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
An investigation is underway to establish the cause of an accident in Mpumalanga province that killed 8 people. 2 cars crashed on the R40 in Bushbuck Ridge last night. Provincial authorities say 7 of the victims died instantly, while the 8th passed away on the way to the hospital. Emergency services had to use the jaws of life to extricate the bodies from the wreckage. eThekwini Mayor Mxolisi Kaunda believes slain ANC councillor Themba Pungula was targeted because of the work he was doing for his community. The 62-year-old Ward 84 councillor was shot and killed outside his home in Umlazi nearly 2 weeks ago. Kaunda spoke at Mpungula's funeral in Umlazi's AA section yesterday and said it was clear his assailants were against the progress he was making in his community.
We don't want to speculate. The law must take its course. Ngoba once you become a public representative, you become vulnerable for many things. We have lost a leader. We have lost a hero. We call him a hero because against all odds, he stood for his community, family.
The Transnet Ports Authority says a team is continuing to collaborate on efforts to deal with the logistics backlog at the Port of Durban. Chairperson of the Port of Durban Decongestion Task Team, Moshe Mutluhi, says the problems are caused by a number of factors.
One is that the behavioral issue or how industry is organized. We then said that we also, in order to make this thing happen, we must look at the arrival pattern of the transporters into the port.
He says decongesting the ports needs extra careful planning and engagement with all those involved.
You mean trucks?
And Amazonian tribe members in Ecuador have released 6 people that kidnapped to demand the body of a leader killed by the coronavirus. 2 police officers, 2 soldiers, and 2 civilians were taken captive on Thursday in a village near the Peruvian border. Their tribal leader, who died from COVID-19, was buried according to health guidelines, but the body had to be exhumed and returned to the tribe following negotiations. Ecuador has over 61,000 cases, including around 4,800 deaths. There'll be overnight temperatures of between -1 and 13 degrees in KZN. Tomorrow you can expect highs of between 22 and 27 degrees. Your top story this hour: an investigation is underway to establish the cause of an accident in Mpumalanga province that killed 8 people.
Why doesn't this work?
And we're being reminded to wear a mask when going out in public, to practice social distancing, and to carry hand sanitizer. Over 10,800 new COVID-19 cases were reported in the country in the last 24 hours. You'll find more local and international news at ecr.co.za.
On FM, online, and on your smart speaker, this is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
Etabini Mayor Mxolisi Kaunda believes slain ANC councillor Becky Temba Pungula was targeted because of the work he was doing for his community.
No.
The 62-year-old Ward 84 councillor was shot and killed outside his home in
On FM, online, and on FM, on the station app, and on DSTV channel. On FM, online. On FM, on the station app. On FM, online, and on your smart speaker, this is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
President Cyril Ramaphosa says government is not considering another hard lockdown. He was responding to concerns of another hard lockdown due to the rising number of coronavirus cases and deaths in the country. He doesn't think this is necessary and says we also need to focus on the jobs lost and the strain on the economy caused by the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The country has recorded 177,124 cases after more than 9,000 new confirmed infections were reported. The death toll is at 2,952. A Durban-based company whose bosses were accused of locking up workers in their factory for nearly a week in March and forcing them to make face masks has been fined 25,000 rand. It's understood the
On FM, on the station app, and on DSTV channel 836. This is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
Masks.
A Durban-based company whose bosses were accused of locking up workers.
On FM, online, and on your smart speaker, this is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
South Africa's coronavirus death toll has risen to 2,952. 108 new fatalities were recorded in the last 24 hours. There are also 9,063 new confirmed infections. The total number of cases is 177,124. Nearly half of the new cases were reported in Gauteng, which has joined the Western Cape and Eastern Cape as the epicenters of the country's pandemic. KZN has reported 1,088 new cases. The country's recovery rate has also dipped below the 50% mark and is now at 48.7%. Cape Town Mayor Dan Plato says he doesn't believe this week's incident, where a man was seen being dragged naked out of his home in Khayelitsha, was an unlawful eviction. The video, which shows law enforcement officers carrying out evictions, has angered many. The South African Human Rights Commission says it will be challenging the Metro in court over the treatment of the 28-year-old shack dweller and the city's evictions. Activists claim Cape Town officials have also been flouting the lockdown evictions moratorium in other parts of the city, but Plato says this is just their opinion. And a bus carrying pilgrims has been hit by a train in Pakistan, killing at least 20 people. The Karachi to Lahore express train smashed into the vehicle at an unmanned railway crossing in Punjab province. All of those who died were on the bus. And a bus carrying pilgrims has been hit by a train in Pakistan, killing at least 20 people. The Karachi to Lahore express train smashed into the vehicle at an unmanned railway crossing in Punjab province. All of those who died were on the bus. Durban 25 today, Pietermaritzburg 24, Richards Bay 26. Your top story this hour, South Africa's coronavirus death toll has risen to 2,952. Log on to ecr.co.za for more news.
Having a look at your traffic for the last time for the week. If you are traveling in the Inanda region, just be on the lookout for some queuing traffic on the M25. It's near the engine garage, so please ensure that you've got some extra travel time there. And with that being said, if you're also traveling on the roads right now, please ensure that you travel safely and you travel in a soberly manner. For me, Coast Radio Traffic Team, I'm Lisa Drive.
Report traffic now to 33116.
No, sort of.
So in a final look at your sport for the day, it's football to start. Although the title might be gone, there's still plenty on the line when the Premier League continues this weekend. Top four hopefuls, Chelsea, Leicester United, Wolves and Arsenal are in action tomorrow. Chelsea face strugglers Watford, who are just a point above the drop zone. Blues boss Frank Lampard insists he doesn't have to talk to his players every time they're criticised. Sky Sports pundit Gary Neville picked out Marcus Alonso in Wednesday night's defeat to West Ham. Lampard told Sky Sports News he'd step in himself if he thought something needed to be said.
If I felt that a player needed help or support in those situations, I would do. I think we as ourselves, as players, and myself as my job, are probably the biggest self-critics. We analyse games, we go over them, we talk with the players individually or collectively. And that's my main focus, not so much what comes from outside.
In the other games tomorrow, United are up against Bournemouth, Leicester take on Palace, and the Gunners have a tough trip to Wolves. In some golf news, PGA Tour professional Cameron Champ is convinced he didn't have COVID-19 despite a positive test last week. The American tested negative on 3 occasions since and has been given the all clear to play in the Rocket Mortgage Classic this weekend. After seeing specialists and receiving expert
Taking a look at your traffic, just be on the lookout for some queuing traffic on the M35 heading westbound through the Umlazi Y section, as well as on the Griffiths Mklenge Highway heading west through the N and R section of Umlazi. For the East Coast Radio Traffic Team, I'm Buhlesha Drive.
Report traffic now. Tweet at ECR Traffic.
Taking a look at your traffic, nothing serious to report on for now. We just
fuck off. Like, pick what you're gonna interfere with. Let's still pressing down. Will it scroll down? No. Yes. How far down will it go?
have some congestion on the Griffiths Mklenge Highway heading west through the N and R section, as well as some queuing traffic on the M35 westbound through the Laziwai section, as well as in the vicinity of Lotus Park. For the East Coast Radio Traffic Team, I'm Mutlisha Drive.
Report traffic now.
Taking a look at your traffic, just be on the lookout for some queuing traffic on the M35 heading westbound through the Umlaziwai section, as well as on the Griffiths Mklenge Highway heading west through the N and R section of Umlazi. For the East Coast Radio Traffic Team, I'm Buhlesha Drive.
Report traffic now. Tweet at ECR Traffic.
Taking a look at your traffic, nothing serious to report on for now. We just have some congestion on the Griffiths Mklenge Highway heading west through the N and R section, as well as some queuing traffic on the M35 westbound through the Umlaziwai section, as well as in the vicinity of Lotus Park. For the East Coast Radio Traffic Team, I am Mutlisha Drive.
Report traffic now to 33116.
So, what is the one movie that everybody's seen but you?
This happened to me the other day actually. My friends were sitting around like a table and everyone was talking about this one movie, Twilight. I haven't watched that. Is that a movie or is it like a series? Yeah.
It was books and then also movies.
So I haven't watched Twilight and I always feel like I don't know what to say about
Sparkly
it. My friends are
vampires, not your thing.
not my vibe. I'm more like a realist person. I'm like a
We're gonna
realist.
do sickle cell
I know
vampires,
vampires don't exist,
blood
so I haven't
thirsty
watched
because
that
its
kind of
veins
stuff,
are
like,
falling apart.
But you've watched Game of Thrones.
No.
Have you watched Harry Potter?
Yeah, back in the day, but I've forgotten the story now.
Have you watched Lord of the Rings?
Nah, not my vibe.
What else has everybody watched? Dirty Dancing?
Nah. I haven't watched Sex in the City. I haven't watched Friends.
You've never watched Friends?
Like, not enough to tell you the story. Like, I still don't know today, like, who dated who and who ended up with who, like, kind of vibe. So, like, I've watched, like, one or two, like, in passing.
All right, so unfortunately, KZN, I regret to inform you that your evening show is hosted by two people who have never watched Game of Thrones, have never watched Lord of the Rings, have never watched Star Wars. We are those people.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh, I can't believe it. No, surely everyone's seen this movie. We are the people to inform you that your evening show is hosted by two people who have never watched Game of Thrones, have never watched Lord of the Rings, have never watched Star Wars. We are those people.
Yeah.
When you're like, oh, I can't believe it. No, surely everyone's seen this movie. We are the people who have actually, no, we have not seen that movie. Yes, so please chime in if you are like Jay Spoo and I, and there's a movie that everybody has seen, but no, not you. You skipped that one for some reason. Tell us about it. Send us a little sneaky WhatsApp, please. This is not quite honesty hour, but it's what you said.
Yeah, Stacey, also, I reckon there's nothing wrong with not having watched, like, a series. Like, we're busy.
I am an independent thinker, okay? I don't have to jump on that bandwagon. What kills me, though, is we put this post up on our Facebook page about, like, the one movie or the one series that everyone's watched, but apparently you haven't, and you're the only person in the world. Somebody said Bird Bix, which is obviously Bird Box, and now everyone's talking about Bird Bix, and it's apparently on Netflix. I think that came out last year. That was with Sandra Bullock, and everyone had to wear a blindfold. No, somebody else said Snakes on a Train, also known as Snakes on a Plane.
Wait, but
Snakes on a Train would make more sense.
You have to watch those. Like, if you haven't watched any of those, I'm gonna judge you.
No, but now you put no. We don't put pressure on. Please, we must stick to one narrative here. Jeff, what haven't you watched?
I've just enjoyed Jefferson, yeah. I'm very similar to you guys. I haven't seen Harry Potter.
Oh, you're all the same by not doing the same thing as everybody else.
Game of Thrones. The only thing which I will
Still
be honest,
managed
I
to
do
click
watch
off.
is like a series. It's either MasterChef or Chef Australia or something like that. I enjoy that or some good sport.
Watching Bird Bix.
And East Coast Drive home. It is with great sadness to inform you that even up until today, I have never watched 50 Shades of Grey. Not even a single movie out of all the movies that I've made.
Okay, may I very wrong at this moment here?
Yeah.
I don't know, Miss Priya, if you need to actually watch the movies because the acting, the script, it's questionable. I mean,
it's
like
overrated.
The soundtrack is great.
Who does the soundtrack? Is it Adele? Eh?
No, it's a whole bunch of like mixed artists and stuff, but like it's really good. But
the music is good. The movie isn't.
Let's wrap it up.
Jason, with Stacy, what's up?
What's up?
Girl, Modi. I'm doing quite great, guys. You're bringing the fire as usual, even though the temperatures are cold outside. Yeah, I relate to you guys with all those movies. Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings. Hey, but the one movie for me that I've tried watching more than 5 or 6 times, but I never last longer than 5 seconds watching, and I will never understand. It's Batman. Whatever movie that is Batman, I will never understand. I just don't understand the whole concept of Batman.
You guys have got a mental illness.
Yeah, maybe I'm not in the things, I don't say.
You have an experience.
Thank you so much, guys. Love you, the show.
Drive home with Stacey and Jason. East Coast.
Hey, but the one movie for me that I've tried watching more than 5 or 6 times, but I never last longer than 5 seconds watching, and I will never understand. It's Batman. Whatever movie that is Batman, I will never understand. I just don't understand the whole concept of Batman. So, yeah, maybe I'm not in the things, I don't say. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Love you, the show.
Drive home with Stacey and Jason. East Coast Radio. On FM, online, and on your smart speaker, this is East Coast Radio. Newswatch.
The two suspects arrested in connection with the controversial Vrede Dairy project have each been released on 10,000 rands bail by the Bloemfontein Regional Court. Former Free State Agriculture Chief Financial Officer Sipati Dlamini and Mariko Mumuhapi were arrested by the Hawks yesterday on charges of corruption, fraud and money laundering of over 244 million rand. The directorate says Muhapi is the sole director of Rekhonne Community Project, a company which entered into an agreement with the Free State Department of Agriculture in 2014 to implement all projects on its behalf for a period of 2 years. Authorities say preliminary investigations have revealed financial irregularities and large amounts deposited into the company's account between January 2012 and December 2016, as well as into Dlamini's bank account. The Vrede Dairy project was meant to benefit black farmers in the Free State, but it's alleged that some of the money pumped into it was channeled to members of the Gupta family and their businesses. President Cyril Ramaphosa says the stigmatization of those who've contracted COVID-19 must end. He was speaking in Mpumalanga today while on a visit to assess that province's response to the pandemic.
Problem that is really raging in our country, the intolerance that people have to those who are seen as having contracted the coronavirus disease, and the stigmatization where people now begin to fear and avoid and not even want to contact or in the same vicinity with people who are known to have either contracted it and recovered.
The president also sounded a warning to employers who are cheating their staff out of their UIF COVID-19 relief benefits. He says he's asked the Labour Minister to investigate the issue and vows there'll be consequences.
Unemployment insurance is not meant for employers. It is meant for the workers who get into a situation of being either retrenched or unemployed or some form of distress. And we want to investigate that very closely. And those employers who have done that are going to find themselves in real hot water when it comes to the government, to a situation of being
COVID-19 relief benefits. He says he's asked the Labour Minister to investigate the issue and vows there'll be consequences.
Unemployment insurance is not meant for employers. It is meant for the workers who get into a situation of being either retrenched or unemployed or some form of distress. And we want to investigate that very closely. And those employers who have done that are going to find themselves in real hot water when it comes to the government on an issue that is as fundamental as that to the livelihood of workers.
And an investigation has been launched after a police vehicle loaded with illicit cigarettes was intercepted in Hluhluwe. Police spokesperson Mobile Gwala says officers were tipped off about the stash being transported from Bazwana.
The suspects abandoned the vehicle and fled on foot. Upon searching the vehicle, boxes of illicit cigarettes were found loaded in a police van, and the estimated street value is 500,000. More charges will be added as investigations still unfolds. Charges of smuggling of illicit cigarettes, failing to stop at a roadblock, and inconsiderate driving are still being investigated.
Durban 25 tomorrow, Pietermaritzburg 24, Richards Bay 26. Log on to ecr.co.za for more local and international news.
Now, no matter what I do.
Coming up in your sport, still plenty to play for in the Premier League this weekend. American golfer Cameron Champ convinced he didn't have COVID-19 despite his positive test, and it's business as usual for Mercedes with the 1-2 in